For ages, monsters lurking in the depths of the water have always sparked humanity's utmost curiosity. There is a strange phenomenon. Humans are simultaneously terrified of and inexplicably drawn to the world of the ocean. By the beginning of the 20th century, following the age of geographical discoveries, most people believed the entire Earth had been explored. However, in reality, today's scientific era still cannot fully help humanity comprehend the mysteries of the ocean. Therefore, we sometimes cannot help but be amazed to discover that within the depths of the ocean, there still exist countless creatures of unimaginable strangeness. Alongside the truly discovered and specifically studied bizarre creatures, there still exist countless species full of mythical color. Since then, this topic has attracted research interest from numerous scientists for decades. So, is this merely a product of imagination and stories embellished by the local people? Indeed, it is a mysterious land that the light of science has yet to reach. The series of monsters lurking in the depths of the primordial universe's waters will partly help you explore this fascinating mystery. The Loch Ness Monster and its unsolved mysteries. Nestled within the beautiful Scottish Highlands, Loch Ness wraps around the life of the entire region like a silk ribbon. It's almost an unspoken rule that mentioning Loch Ness inevitably brings to mind the legendary monster, Nessie. It is so famous that it has become a cultural icon of the indigenous people. The first recorded encounter with this monster dates back to the 1930s. But no one paid any attention to it. They see it as a work of science fiction. It was created simply to add more charm to this land. By 1933, the story of the Loch Ness Monster truly caused a public sensation, making it impossible for anyone to ignore the matter. A self-proclaimed eyewitness claimed to have seen the monster with their own eyes and described it as follows. The strange creature had a neck as long as a swan's, a small head, and on its back was a hump measuring up to 3 meters. You can picture it like the back of an elephant, or exactly like an overturned boat. Additionally, reports of monsters also exploded in massive numbers, similar to the phenomenon of UFO reports during the wartime period. Local residents reported discovering a prehistoric creature. And so, the Loch Ness Monster created a media sensation. Only a short time later, countless blurry black and white photographs of the monster had surfaced. They call it Nessie's, since the most controversial and famous photo was taken. Not only are creatures resembling the Loch Ness Monster continually sighted in the very same lake, but also in many other locations around the world. In North America, the similarly famous creature is the Lake Champlain Monster, and another creature is also said to appear in Lake Okanagan. On the shores of the Pacific Ocean, a creature similar to the Loch Ness Monster has been discovered in a different location. Along the Pacific coast, hundreds of people have claimed to have seen the monster with their own eyes. To date, no one has managed to take a clear photograph or find its remains. So what is it, really? A forgotten creature that humanity has never known, or merely a product inflated by public curiosity? The constant mentions of it, the sudden flood of photos and the retelling of stories that make listeners' hair stand on end. That doesn't mean those monsters truly exist. They simply remain creatures living in the human imagination. A member of the Royal Cavalry team claims to have seen the monster in British Columbia's Okanagan Lake with his own eyes on multiple occasions. He recounted that initially, he saw a gigantic head swimming amidst the waves of Lake Okanagan. After that head came a very long neck, followed by 4 or 5 humps rising one after another above the water. Not far from there, on the coast, a seasoned old fisherman also recounted his encounter with a similar creature. Its body continuously moves through the water, with about 4 or 5 unexpected bumps suddenly emerging above the surface. The Hill observed it for about 20 seconds before it dove down into the water. It is noticeable that descriptions of mythical creatures across many different cultures largely share common characteristics. This is far more compelling than the scattered UFO reports from around the world, which have little to no connection to one another. It is highly likely that the Loch Ness Monster is one of the most mysterious, undiscovered creatures with a vast habitat spanning various bodies of water. And the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is the individual that made this creature world famous. More than 70 years since its first sighting, Nessie remains a topic of ongoing discussion, becoming a timeless icon. Contrary to widespread speculation that evidence of the lake monster is merely an outright fabrication, ancient records reveal a completely different reality. The earliest records of the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie, date back to the 6th century. However, it wasn't until 1930 that the hunt for it truly exploded. And of course, collectors are the ones willing to spend large sums of money to hunt down photos of the monster. Hope Gray, an employee of a British company living in the northwest Scottish Highlands, was walking home from church on November 12, 1933. Then, they unexpectedly discovered something unusual about the Loch Ness Monster. Hope Gray quickly raised her camera and captured that moment. The photo was subsequently first published by Britain's Daily Record, sparking debates about the true existence of the Loch Ness Monster. Despite facing much skepticism from the scientific community, this photograph still ignited a worldwide monster hunting frenzy. And many photographers flocked to Loch Ness hoping to capture an image of the Nessie monster. In 1934, during a vacation in Highlands, Dr. Winston took the most famous photograph of a long-necked creature, alleged to be the Loch Ness Monster, emerging from the water. This photo later sparked considerable debate regarding its authenticity. It is believed that this is merely a doctored image or the reflective illusion of some ordinary object on the lake's surface. However, many others assert that this is genuine proof of the Loch Ness Monster's existence. That shape immediately leads one to think that Nessie is a long-necked plesiosaur, a species of reptile believed to have gone extinct 65 million years ago. But could it be the unique topography of Highlands or other lakes that helped this species survive the mass extinction and persist to this day? Or at the very least, is there any biological basis to suggest the existence of the Loch Ness Monster is feasible? You know, Nessie is an endless source of inspiration for monster enthusiasts, driving them to perform unbelievable feats. A massive 35-ton iron cage was constructed in the hope of capturing the monster. Even the scientific community was swept up in the fierce, endless debate. After decades, the photograph taken by Dr. Wilson has endured, standing the test of time. However, the famous photograph of this legendary creature was eventually exposed as a hoax. It was proven to be nothing more than a setup, using a toy submarine and a model of the monster's head. So what about the first photo of Hope Gray? Could it be fake as well? That is precisely the correct answer. With just a little contrast adjustment technique, we can see it is simply an image of a dog trying to swim to shore with a stick held in its mouth. It seemed that this evidence would be the final blow to the legend of the Loch Ness Monster, yet more compelling sightings continued to emerge, proving otherwise. Since the 1970s, many scientists have used the most advanced equipment available to survey the terrain of Loch Ness in the hope of definitively finding the legendary monster. Among these, the research findings of Boston, an English naturalist, appear to have lifted the veil of long-standing mystery. In 1972, Boston published a photograph of massive objects believed to be monsters from the underwater world. Simultaneously, using sonar, they also demonstrated that something was indeed moving deep below. By June 1975, the city of Boston also witnessed a full body and head photograph of the Loch Ness Monster's body, which possesses a long and slender neck. However, because it is obscured beneath the water. According to the analysis, this animal has a body length of 6.5 meters, with the neck accounting for 2.1 to 3.7 meters of that total length. However, because the photo was too blurry, it could not provide convincing evidence of the Loch Ness Monster's existence. The clearest evidence of the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie, on record, from 2017, belongs to Daniel Turner, an American seamstress. At this moment, the surrounding area was completely devoid of any passing boats. It was September 29, 2017, the day I witnessed the appearance of a colossal creature. It is very likely that it is the Loch Ness Monster, a mysterious creature whose existence has long been doubted by many. According to Diana Turner, the 2-minute video she recorded captured a strange phenomenon. A previously calm area of water in the Loch Ness region began to move in an inexplicable manner. Afterward, she passed this clip on to Gary Campbell, the administrator of a website dedicated to collecting data on the Loch Ness Monster. Despite substantial evidence being presented, the scientific community still does not recognize the existence of the monster. They believe that speculating about such a prehistoric creature is completely without biological basis. How could such a colossal creature have existed in solitude for tens of millions of years? Loch Ness is landlocked, making the theory that the creature originated in the ocean even more unfounded. The tiger's only exit lay to the west, where there was a very small river mouth, so narrow that the monster could not squeeze through. To the northeast, the terrain is dissected by a system of transverse river branches. Based on all that evidence, it can be confirmed that Nessie could not exist under such conditions. However, consider this. What if Nessie is actually a mutated creature of some species that already lives deep within the lake? In 2020, Professor Neil Gemmell from the University of Otago, New Zealand, conducted an analysis of 500 million DNA sequences collected from 250 water samples taken from Loch Ness. After a long period of intensive research, the team of scientists confirmed that they found no DNA from any Jurassic-era reptiles, such as plesiosaurs, nor did they detect any traces of sharks or catfish. However, the results also revealed a significant amount of eel DNA. This is a species that is quite common in Loch Ness. According to the professor, it is entirely possible that giant mutated eels are still living in Loch Ness. Previously, divers had recorded and recounted that at the bottom of the lake, there were eels as large as a man's calf. Based on his research experience in the field of migration studies, Professor Gemmell believes that the existence of a freshwater eel approximately 4 meters long, as shown in the old photographs, is entirely possible. This is likely the most plausible explanation scientists have offered regarding the mysterious creature living in Loch Ness. And there are also those who dare to deny the famous monster stories, claiming they are merely products woven by human imagination. Additionally, a theory has emerged on Twitter suggesting that the Loch Ness Monster is actually the penis of a trapped whale. According to LifeSize, this new hypothesis emerged on Twitter when Michael Squitt, a molecular ecologist at the University of Derby, UK, was photographing the erect penis of a blue whale. It can reach a maximum length of up to 3 meters with a shape said to resemble the Loch Ness Monster. The photos revealed an astonishing similarity. Erect penis breaking the ocean. After just a few days of appearing, this status update attracted over 93,000 likes and was quickly, enthusiastically picked up by several tabloid newspapers, primarily in the UK. They even claimed that the Loch Ness Monster might ultimately just be a whale's erect penis. Biologist Michael Squitt wrote that he used the image of the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie, to illustrate popular descriptions of sea monsters' appearances. So, what are your thoughts on the existence of this creature? Do you think that one day this mystery will be solved and the Loch Ness Monster will be brought to light? I believe that with 1,139 recorded sightings of the Loch Ness Monster and extensive additional evidence spanning centuries, we have ample reason to believe in a mysterious wonder of nature. Real, the legends of mysterious creatures lurking beneath the water. As mentioned earlier, Canada's Okanagan Lake region is also home to numerous mysterious tales of a lake monster. Much like the Loch Ness Monster, the mysterious creature in Okanagan Lake has also been reportedly sighted hundreds of times by numerous witnesses, accompanied by countless pieces of evidence. Okanagan Lake is significantly wider and deeper than Loch Ness, making it a perfectly ideal habitat for a monster. Okanagan Lake is situated in the Okanagan Valley of British Columbia. The lake is 135 kilometers long, ranges from 4 to 5 kilometers in width, and has a total surface area of over 351 square kilometers. Okanagan Lake has an average depth of about 235 meters, with its deepest point reaching 750 meters. It is in these very waters that a mysterious creature, known as Ogopogo, is said to appear. The story goes that in the region now belonging to the Okanagan people, there lived a man named Yah Conhecan, who was held in great esteem by everyone. Jealousy of Yah turned Ogopogo into a sinner. After the death of Yah Conhecan, the gods punished Ogopogo by turning it into a giant serpent, forcing it to live forever in the frigid waters to repent for its sins. The Okanagan First Nations tribe were the first to spot Ogopogo and carved images of the creature onto stone slabs. The first documented evidence of the Ogopogo monster's existence dates back to around 1872, recorded by white settlers in the Okanagan Valley. Initially, people did not believe that the monster was a product of superstition. However, more and more people are seeing it. Some even claim they had to cut the horse's tether to escape when Ogopogo suddenly surfaced, attempting to drag the two horses pulling their boat into the lake. Unlike the gentle and timid Nessie, Ogopogo's former ferocity was a terrifying dread that haunted the residents living around Lake Okanagan. According to the accounts of witnesses from that time, Ogopogo was between 6 and 15 meters long, had a head resembling a horse's, blue, black or brown skin, and had many humps on its back. The waters where Ogopogo is most frequently sighted are off the city of Kelowna, in the middle section of Okanagan Lake. By 1914, a completely different description of Ogopogo had emerged. According to it, the creature was less than 2 meters long, weighed about 180 kilograms, and had grayish-blue skin, ears, and a short neck. However, in 1989, a used car dealer named Ken Chaplin captured priceless footage while walking along the lakeshore. It was the image of a creature resembling a giant snake swimming in Lake Okanagan. Suddenly changing direction, it swung its tail and thrashed forcefully, sending columns of water splashing upward. Some people argued that the creature was merely an ordinary beaver, as using its tail to slap the water and create waves is a characteristic behavior of this species. But Chaplin completely disagreed with that, as no beaver could possibly be that large. Their maximum size is only about 1.2 meters at most. The creature he saw was at least 5 meters long. A few weeks after that unexpected encounter, Chaplin returned to Lake Okanagan with his father and daughter. This time, they once again witnessed the appearance of Ogopogo. Also that year, on July 30th, a group of 4 people spotted a giant creature swimming in Okanagan Lake, approximately 340 meters from their location. Through the specialized Bushnell 40X binoculars, a team member named Kick clearly saw a mysterious creature swimming underwater. He then also passed the draft to another member named Clax for joint review. 2 witnesses recounted that they counted approximately 5 to 6 mysterious humps on the creature's back. It had skin resembling that of a whale, with an estimated body length of 9 to 10 meters, and the portion protruding above the water was about 1 meter high. Bill Stitchkirk, a resident of the nearby city of Kelowna, also shared that he had seen the Ogopogo monster with his own eyes on 2 occasions, in 1987 and 2015. Notably, in 2015, Bill witnessed a creature with a snake-like head from a distance of only about 150 meters. The man quickly grabbed the camera and captured an image of a strange, round object. He believes it is a photograph of the Okanagan Lake Monster, also known as Ogopogo. Afterwards, Bill spent a great deal of time searching for information and pursuing the legendary monster. However, to this day, he has yet to achieve any concrete results. However, Bill decided to create an entire dedicated website to write about the Ogopogo legend, as he believes that dozens of mysterious creatures still reside undiscovered in the depths of Okanagan Lake. To this day, people still occasionally spot the Okanagan Lake Monster. In 2018, while enjoying a lakeside picnic with his older brother Kat and family, David Harbour discovered a strange creature. While sitting by the lake, we suddenly spotted a strange black creature, about 15 meters long, that looked like a giant snake swimming. David stated that despite the considerable amount of evidence for Ogopogo, it remains a subject of much debate. A former FBI forensic expert also provided an analysis of the monster based on examining the footage. He believed that the image of a large, brightly colored fish, along with its shadow in the water, could cause an observer to misinterpret it and create an illusion. However, this explanation is even less convincing than the explanations for the Loch Ness Monster. Extraordinary scientific claims require extraordinary evidence. Ogopogo has been cited hundreds of times, particularly and consistently throughout the past year. The evidence refuting its existence remains highly ambiguous and lacks a solid scientific foundation, unlike the case of the Loch Ness Monster. Therefore, Ogopogo is an even more credible creature than its famous neighbor, Nessie. Since humans do not live in an aquatic environment, the profound mysteries of the deep ocean remain beyond our ability to fully imagine or comprehend. You might believe it, but then again, you might not. Every year, numerous new species continue to be discovered and added to humanity's treasury of knowledge. This lake seems a bit smaller than we had imagined. So, in the next episode, join us as we embark on